Sarah, to you first. This judge, Emmett Sullivan. I mean, stern warnings. We've repeated the quotes. He basically saying, "Are you sure?" Saying to Flynn, "Are you sure you want to be sentenced today? Are you sure? Are you sure?" I mean, it seems to me that he was about to be given jail time, and Flynn's lawyers kind of got the hint. So my question to you is, what changed?
Well, look, I think in the context of federal sentencing, the biggest mistake you can make is to engage in a blame game, which Flynn's lawyers did in his papers, and essentially say that he was duped by the authorities. That backfired on him today. It's about acceptance of responsibility. It's about contrition. It's about remorse, none of which was in his sentencing papers that he filed with the court. And so this judge has clearly sent a strong message that he's disgusted by Flynn, probably also because of the aggravating factors, because of who he is. He's not Joe Schmo. He is a 3-star general. He was a national security advisor. He served this country for decades. He should have known better. He is somebody that should be held to a higher standard. And so this judge has basically said, you better come back with a hell of a record of cooperation for me to change my mind. And if we think back to the people that we've seen sentenced so far for the same offense, they've gone to prison. I mean, Michael Cohen has not gone to prison, but he's sentenced to 3 years. George Papadopoulos, the low-level volunteer coffee boy, has gotten 14 days. So why should Flynn, who is higher ranked than these guys in terms of his proximity to the White House, get any less time? So I think this judge is ultimately and I could be wrong, but I think he is going to sentence Flynn to some time, but I think he's allowing him to come back once his cooperation is completed to sort of balance that out against what he's thinking is a fair sentence.
Sarah, to you, you mentioned the word remorse a second ago, and I know that you've said federal sentencing is about remorse. Is that why you think Team Flynn did this 180 from their claims that originally he was duped or entrapped into lying to the FBI? Why would they even float that theory in the first place?
I think we're not kind of touched upon this, but in the context of federal sentencing, judges look at aggravating factors and mitigating factors. I think his lawyers were trying to lay out mitigating factors in their attempt to say, well, look, these were the circumstances around these lies. He wasn't really comfortable. I mean, he felt comfortable, and the FBI agents led him to feel comfortable, and that's why he said these lies. And of course, from the 302s yesterday that Mueller released, we saw that the lies were repeated and deliberate, and they were material. And so Mueller cleared the record in terms of what the Flynn team was alleging in their papers. And so what happened is they were trying to come up with mitigating factors towards a lenient sentence, towards no time, but they screwed up. Because the last thing you want to do in your papers on behalf of your client, I speak as a defense attorney, is to say anything that can remotely be constructed as a blame game, as contesting the facts to which you've pled, the responsibility that you've accepted. It's sort of antithetical to the acceptance of responsibility in a guilty plea. So I think his lawyers made a huge mistake, and they probably realized it in court if they didn't realize it before.